Hello and welcome to this English lesson template for live recording. The aims of this lesson is looking at how writers make text exciting. So you're going to study a text together, then you're going to do some work analysing it, and this is all building up to next lesson where you'll be doing some of your own creative writing. So as I said, main aim is analysing how a text is made exciting. We're going to focus on a couple of techniques that writers might use. The first one of those is the use of the senses in a text, and the second one is looking at how this writer uses similes and personification in a text, and then we'll also do some work on vocabulary as well. To start with though, just a very quick starter, I want you to look at the phrase on the slide, and I want you to basically rewrite it and find the mistakes. So you can either pause the video here, you've got 30 seconds, I want you to go to the chat function in the Microsoft Teams, and I want you to post your answer. Okay, so you've got 30 seconds from now. Okay, so hopefully you've got the right answer, which is obviously mistakes with your, and to. So first your should be YOU''re, then it should be TOO, and obviously the second your should be YOUR. So you are too smart for your own good. Okay, right, let's move on. So, again, quick activity. I want you to think, what makes a film or book exciting? Okay, so I've got 3 examples on there. One book and a couple of films. Hopefully you've seen these films or read the books, maybe. And I want you to think of 3 factors, 3 things which makes a book or a film exciting. Okay, what is it about it which makes you interested in it, makes you want to read on, makes you want to keep watching? So even if you haven't seen those films or read that book, think of other things that you read or seen that are interesting, exciting. What is it about them that has this effect on you? So again, you've got a couple of minutes, so you can pause the video and put your ideas in the chat section. Okay, then we'll discuss them afterwards. Okay, so what we're going to do now is look at an extract. Okay, so this is from a book called Before the Fall. Okay, and the extract is in your class file. Okay, so if you can go and find it, I'll bring it up on the screen in a moment. I'll read it through to you. And this extract describes the moments immediately after a plane crash. Okay, so it's at the start of the book. The book is about the plane crash, the effect it has on the people involved, and it's a really good example of a piece of descriptive writing about like a shocking or shocking incident. So just bear with me while I bring up the class file for you. Okay, so hopefully you've all got this. Like I said, I'm going to read it through to you as well, because sometimes I know that can help some of you. Okay, so as I said, this is from the extract Before the Fall by Noah Hawley, and it's describing the moments following a plane crash. He surfaces, shouting. It is night. The salt water burns his eyes. Heat singes his lungs. There is no moon, just a diffusion of moonlight through the burly fog, wave caps churning midnight blue in front of him. Around him, eerie orange flames lick the froth. The water is on fire, he thinks, kicking away instinctively. And then, after a moment of shock and disorientation, the plane has crashed. Scott thinks this, but not in words. In his brain are images and sounds. A sudden downward pitch, the panic stench of burning metal, screams, a woman bleeding from the head, broken glass glittering against her skin. and how everything that wasn't tied down seemed to float for an endless moment as time slowed. A wine bottle, a woman's purse, a little girl's iPhone, plates of food hovering in midair, spinning gently, entrees still in place. And then the screech of metal on metal and the barrel roll of Scott's world ripping itself to pieces. A wave smacks him in the face, and he kicks his feet to try to get higher in the water, his shoes dragging him down so he loses them, then forces his way out of his salt-soaked chinos. He shivers in the cold Atlantic current, treading water, legs scissoring, arms pushing the ocean away in hard swirls. The waves are quilted with froth, not the hard triangles of children's drawings, but fractals of water, tiny waves stacking into larger ones. Out in the open water, they come at him from all directions, like a pack of wolves testing his defences. The dying fire animates them, gives them faces of sinister intent. Scott treads his way into a 360-degree turn. Around him he sees humps of jagged wreckage bobbing, pieces of fuselage, a stretch of wing. The floating gasoline has already dissipated or burned down. Soon everything will be dark. Fighting panic, Scott tries to assess the situation. The fact that it's August is in his favour. Right now the temperature of the Atlantic is maybe 65 degrees. Cold enough for hypothermia, but warm enough to give him time to reach shore. If that's possible. If he's even close. Okay. So again, so take a little bit longer. Read it through again. So I'll pause the video, and then we'll go on to look at what makes it an effective piece of writing, and then I said you're going to start some analysis of your own. Okay, so why is it successful? Okay, so I've picked out 5 reasons, as you can see on the screen, why this extract works. Okay, so the first one is effective and unusual use of vocabulary. Okay, so it uses a very wide range of vocabulary here. Some interesting words, quite high level vocabulary. So there might be some words there that you haven't come across before. But I think the way he uses vocabulary really kind of gives a good impression of what it's like to be in that plane crash. And he describes all the different senses. Okay, so if you we'll look at this in more detail in a moment. But as you can see, you've got really good descriptions of what he can see, what he can hear, smell of the gasoline, what the waves look like, how it feels to be, the physical effect of him being in water. Okay, and I think that creates a really good impression for us as the reader of what Scott is feeling and experiencing. Okay, so he uses some language techniques. So he uses a couple of similes and also personification. Okay, so I'm not going to tell you yet what he uses, because I want you to find out. But when you find it, I think it's really effective in making the danger for Scott seem more dramatic. And I think all of those 3 techniques has the effect of putting you as the reader right in the middle of the action. So he's describing it from the character Scott's point of view. And I think hopefully you agree that it really feels that when you're reading it, that you can imagine what it's like to have just been in this plane crash and suddenly, realise that you're stuck in the middle of the ocean, got burning plane around you, debris, you don't know what's happened to the other people. I think it's really effective at doing that. And he also uses some short sentences and almost fragments for effect. So when you look at it again, we'll look this through. There are lots of quite short, simple sentences which really focus on the danger that Scott is in, and I think those short sentences are really effective at getting across that sense of drama and that sense of danger. Okay, so like I said, so this is kind of setting you up for the analysis of it. Okay, so first of all, just a couple of quick recaps of some of those ideas. Okay, so as I said in the previous slide, there are a couple of techniques that the writer uses to get his ideas across effectively. So he uses similes. Okay, so hopefully, as you know, simile is a phrase that compares one item to another using the words like or as. Okay, so example, the water was as cold as ice. So comparing water to ice. It's not actually ice yet, because obviously if it was, he wouldn't be swimming in it, but it's to amplify or exaggerate the effect of the temperature on him. Okay, so another technique that he uses is personification. So personification is the when a writer describes an object as if it has human characteristics. Okay, so this is an example from the text. He uses quite a lot of personification. It goes, eerie orange flames lick the froth. So obviously flames themselves don't actually lick, but think about what is the effect of describing the flames here as if they are licking the froth. The froth here refers to the kind of like the bubbles on the water when you get waves, that kind of slightly whitey effect on the top of a wave. So for me, this is effective because it's kind of creating the idea that the flames, the fire is alive, and is kind of eating things around it almost. So it's, although at the moment it's kind of eating the waves, gives the impression that very soon it could be Scott that is surrounded by the fire and almost being eaten alive and burnt alive by the fire. Okay, so that's two techniques that he uses. The other one is the senses. Okay, so the senses refer to how the human body kind of experiences not emotions, but like the world around us. Okay, so there are five main senses. So you've got touch, obviously things you touch. You've got taste, smell, hearing, and sight. So in the extract, the writer uses all of those apart from taste. And I think key thing to remember that good writers use the senses in their writing to help kind of create more dramatic, exciting story, and also, as I keep referring to, give the sensation of the reader being in the story. So you can hear what the readers, what the character hears. You can smell what's around you. What you see, what you can touch. It creates quite a tactile kind of environment. Okay. So, main task for today is really studying this extract in close detail. So there's two reasons why I'm getting you to do this. First of all, in the exam, you are required to kind of analyse basically how a writer creates an effect. Okay, so getting practice in doing that and looking at how the writer uses language, the different words, the different effect they have is really, really important. Also, this will also be helping you with your creative writing as well. So remember that reading and writing aren't separate, they're interlinked. So things that you study in reading help you with your writing. So in the next lesson, we're both going to look at a more exam task, which we'll be analysing how a writer creates effects, and also, like I said, it's building up to some creative writing where I want you to take the ideas that we've studied in today's lesson and apply them to your own writing. So, as you've got 30 minutes, 40 minutes until the end of the lesson to find the answers and upload the document to your class file. Remember, it's really important that you all complete this within the allotted time of your lesson. Okay, so by the time the lesson is over, you all will need to have uploaded the document to your class file. I will be here on chat if you have any problems, and also kind of checking up on your progress. And you need to kind of answer it in detail. So just a couple of words, bung that up and off you go, is not going to be enough. So if we go back to the Word document, which hopefully you've all still got open, you will see what the task is, and I'll just talk it through with you to hopefully make it very clear what it is. And remember, if you do have any questions, you can ask me on chat afterwards. Okay, so the questions are about how the text, how the writer uses language to communicate reading to the reader. And the writer uses it to communicate meaning to the reader. Okay, so first one. So as we just discussed, the writer uses a lot of sensual, as in focus on the sensuous language. So I want you to find at least two examples of each of the senses and describe the effect of each one. Okay, so you know so you've got touch, smell, sight, and sound. So the idea is that you would find an example of how the writer uses the sense of touch. So you'd put the quotation in there, and then you'd give me a sentence describing the effect, how it helps make the scene more dramatic, more exciting, makes you feel as if you're in there. And do the same smell, sight, sound, etc. You will find that the box is not big enough for now, so it will expand as you type. Okay, so don't think you're limited just writing a few words in there. Okay, so like I said, go through again and find out. So next one, there are, like we said before, many examples of personification. So I want you to find those examples, write them down there, and again describe what the effect is. Okay, so we looked at one already about the flames licking the froth. So try and find 2 other examples. Okay, don't want you just to repeat the one that I found already. And there's one simile in there. Okay, so I want you to find that. What does he describe using the simile? What does he compare it to? What is the effect of it? Okay. Okay, so the next one is looking at short sentences. So remember, short sentence is like a basically very short sentence, just 1 word, 2 words, 3 words. Okay, so there's a few examples in the text. So think, find at least one example of that one. What is the effect? Why does he use a short sentence there? And again, think about in your own writing how you can also do the same thing. Okay, and finally, as I referred to at the start of the lesson, uses a lot of different vocabulary here. Okay, so some of it is going to be new to you. You know, there's words here like eerie, diffusion, burly, disorientation, glittering, jagged, dissipated. You know, there's lots of new words there, but they're quite interesting vocabulary. I think it helps create a very rich piece of writing. So we just want you to find, as it says there, find 2 words that were new to you. Okay, find out their meaning, and then want you to put them in a sentence to show that you understand how to use those words in your own writing. Okay, so what we're going to do together is just find one example of one of the senses, just so you know what I'm asking you to do. So, for example, so if we get a sense of touch, okay, so if we just see here, so I've just highlighted first example. Okay, the salt water burns his eyes. Okay, so obviously that is the sense of touch. Okay, so I'm just going to copy that and put that in here. Okay, so what is the effect of that? Okay, so obviously the writer there is describing how unpleasant, I guess it is, being in the salt water. Okay, so he uses the word burns. So what are the connotations of the word burns? So it's something unpleasant, something dangerous. If you've obviously, I hope you've all been in the sea, seeing as you live by the coast, so you know what you like when you swallow a bit of salt water, it goes into your eyes, that kind of stinging effect, that unpleasantness. So it really kind of helps you create that idea of what it's like being in the sea water, like I said, the unpleasantness of it, and the danger as well. So here we could write creates the idea that Scotland is the main character. Is in physical danger. So the use of the word burns has connotations of oops, spelt wrong. Of danger and creates a strong physical reaction in the reader. So it's almost like, I'm sure if you were like me, when you read that, you started imagining, oh yeah, I know what it's like when salt water goes in your eyes, that kind of stinging effect. So you kind of have that physical reaction to the text as you're reading it. Okay, so that's one. So that's the example of what I want you to do. So I find another. So you can use that one and then find another example of touch. Go through, find the other examples of language, sentence structure, etc. And then, like I said, I want you to upload this to your class document by let's say about 10 minutes before the end of the lesson, and then we'll do a quick recap at the end. Okay, so if you have any questions, you can put them on chat now, and like I said, I'll be on live on the system, kind of checking, making sure everything's okay. Okay, thanks very much.